my fine feathered friends. I'm going to ask you all to take your seats. Louder than I thought. Thank you. We need someone with real authority here. I don't know what I'm doing. Lights. Wow, this is my time to shine, right? Okay, hi everybody. Lights. Wow, this is my time to shine, right? Okay, hi everybody. Thank you so much for being here, staying here. We're really excited for this session. So my name is Kayla Calder. I am the president of the Arc Poetry Society, which is the entity, yes, behind Arc Poetry magazine. I've never done one of these things for ARC before, so I'm channeling my inner 8th grader with cue cards as if it's speech day at school. So, you know, this isn't about me, but I would appreciate all the emotional support. I'll start off, of course, by talking about how Ottawa is built on unceded Algonquin and Anishinaabe territory. The peoples of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation have lived on this territory for millennia. Their culture and presence have nurtured and continue to nurture this land. The Arc Poetry Society honors the peoples and the land of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe Nation, as well as First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people, and their valuable past and present contributions to the land. ARC gratefully acknowledges operating funding as well from the City of Ottawa, the Ontario Arts Council, and the Canada Council for the Arts. For this event in particular, we would also like to thank the League of Canadian Poets and, by extension, Canada Council for their readings funding. I'm just going to do my little pitch here. We are so grateful to everyone who makes ARC possible. As a not-for-profit, ARC runs on the generosity, care, and commitment of volunteers. Our board, our editors, our first readers, who help bring each issue, all of our awards and contests, and our Poet in Residence program to life. Right now, we're actually looking to recruit a new treasurer to our board. It's a meaningful way to support the organization and help chart a course for where it's going to go next. We're especially interested in hearing from folks who are based here in Ottawa, and experience with financial management is helpful, but not necessary. We can all learn. More broadly, if you've ever been curious about working with ARC or being involved with ARC in any way, we would love to hear from you. Okay, enough from me, enough housekeeping. Let's get to the good stuff. So first, we're gonna have Isabella Wang read. Isabella Wang is the author of Pebble Swing, November, November, and On Forgetting a Language. Her work has appeared in more than 30 literary journals and several anthologies, including ARC. ARC's a journal. We have a late-breaking edition that I've been asked to read, and also I'm happy to read. In response to the depression surrounding a poetry prize today, she's excited to announce that she is starting her own Canadian prize called the Gerfin Poetry Prize, starting in 2027. Very good. Isabella's writing is intimate and specific, often asking questions about language, memory, and migration. One thing I really appreciate about her work is how she takes a magnifying glass to what exists in the gaps between what we can say and cannot say. Isabella works as a bookseller, is currently finishing an MA in sociology, wow, busy, and runs Revise Revision Street, a not-for-profit editing and mentorship program for emerging writers. Please join me in welcoming Isabella to the stage.
Okay, so I was at the National Gallery today, and so of course I fell in love with that cat. And I've been told that if you get something and make it part of your performance, you can write it off for tax purposes. So this is performance. I mean, this says performer, not poet, so I gotta bring some drama to this. And now for death, mortality, and illness. Also, thank you to the organizers for having me. And I'm gonna time myself. Here we go. I'm gonna start with a short poem. And it begins with a quote by I Ching. Quote, "Our great land that was dead, now under the bright sky is born again. I Ching, reborn land." Constellations, ageless suns reborn as stars in the seats of a conversation. They can neither ferry nor pine for a different Sturidian arrangement, but keep talking. Their expositions depend on the peoples of lands and revolutions, seeing them, imagining the bright sky, deep futures of their holding illuminations until they're gone. Where have the poets gone? The wise, the sager elders who rocked generations of poets into their worlds, but always insisted that they do the following. Because we are ready, they say. This world, they've taught us that leading is remembering the ones who ask, are they still thinking about us? Did we at once gather them and hold them warm this November month? Tell them that nights echo thoughts of how much they're with us? Did we gather enough poems that tell them we still kind of need them? In this world, we gather a light for them daily, days when we are cold and not ready to see the places they found and are traveling to be present for. Where are the better years? Where are the summers and more comfortable rains forgetting another day? Where are the coffee tables and phone call guests at the enjambments of people's care? Stairs we say we miss. Some people, the further they are, the longer we long to reach them. Maybe it's a line break, a breath. This lifetime, the rains blending with the mise-en-scène on the ferry ride over. Where are the forgotten letters? Times she called and you didn't hear your ringer. Now ringing her way back. They know we need them, the handful who've been leaving us messages all our lives, knowing we'd only find them after. The rains traveling with Phyllis a day later, departing, knowing you'd be okay. This one I wrote during Christmas, and I was staying with my foster parents. And that night, I created chlorine gas by accident in their apartment. I thought I was doing them a favor to help clean the bathroom, and apparently you don't mix Clorox and bleach. Well, I found that out after it started smelling, so the first thing I did was run out the door, lock them inside, and then I caught poison control. They still love me. And speaking of foster parents, one of the prizes for the Gerfen Poetry Prize is the Foster Mother's Choice Award. So my foster mother would be adjudicating one of the books, and it's partly because I need her to fund some of it. To other cancer patients finding out their diagnosis near the holidays. It's a beautiful world, and I'm also scared to leave it. It's a beautiful world transformed in night and 5 inches of snow, and I'm haunted by it. Everywhere are the feelings I wrote of the Marina timber mornings of the city, written years ago, never so still, but this time, feeling again, but cannot express, nor hear, nor cry. I walk down the water written before, muscle memory asking what to say of the fishing boats now like winter loons anchoring stoically, their mast fins to the sky, what to say of anything now. I know it's not all beautiful, like the new symptoms hurt, and there are people you love you won't tell until the holidays are over. City windows smashed because the people without a home are cold. Only the ERs are open, and only you and one incarcerated patient got private rooms. This is a white Christmas you'll never forget, and there's not an inch of blue in the sky. Dawning, yawning quietly until you open the door, and it's beautiful again. Thank you. All right. This one I wrote to my surgeon who saved my life. And I mean, that money-making option is gone for me because I only have one kidney now. But if you need to sell yours on the black market, I can hook you up with him. He's probably the safest person who can do that for you. Healing for Dr. Tron. No, nothing unjust about my world that lifts me in all of its mercy. My surgeon spends years practicing 5 incision points to the belly. This is the heart I hear at the temple of laparoscopic lenity. 2 hours feel like 7 years to my loved ones, waiting in a lifetime of unknowing time for the miniature robotic technology prolonging the humanness of human life we can never be. And 5 minutes for me. I have no memory of being a part of this world, and it feels like the closest thing I know to dying. 7:45 a.m. Prepare patient to greet surgical team and medical students. Do you watch The Good Doctor? I ask them. This diagnosis ruined my favorite show for me. Is the body of a patient manipulatable chemical matter, physics? Though there are rules I refuse to believe exist. The same world that gave me a rare kidney cancer for my age group gave it to me on a dispensable organ, caused an Omicron outbreak in the hospital, but pronounced this variant, if infectious, then at least less fatal. It knows there's been so much loss already. We are the cells that make up the body and memory of the world and causes it to hurt sometimes. My friend is still in the hospital room, her daughter waiting to see her. It's been a week since her last memory of being able to walk without pain, of cooking Chinese food, of talking to someone. No, she cannot understand English, no, but she has learned to communicate with the nurses who bring her a tray of warm soy milk. No, nothing unjust about my world, with some hard lumps in its body, hurting, but go on beating its heart for us, because it doesn't want to leave. It doesn't want to let go either. I don't believe in luck, Dr. Tron says, but I know I'm lucky, because I woke up and knew they're still here, and that the moment of brief transformation from snow to gently bowing greens of aspen will be a long and thawing lyric by the time we're healing. Thanks, guys. All right, this one is for my partner. And speaking of partners, another prize for the Girlfriend Poetry Prize is the Mother-in-Law Choices Award, and it'll be a book of poetry chosen by my mother-in-law, and that prize will be up for as long as I'm with my partner. Funeral for a Mink, J. We planned funeral for a mink Saturday behind the ANW, caught along small stretch of dirt road forming an almost forest. My hand in yours, we dressed in black for comfort, walk side by side, sipping slushies to melt into an occasion for mourning. But morning finds us anyway. This animal, not breathing nor in pain, already gone with the cart tires that might have collided last night or days in our own bodies to contain. A mink. We pluck wild grasses and spread a quilt over its flattened belly, heads bowed, ignoring dewdrops that light up spider webs christening. You lower me into the spell of your grief, and I ask you, when was the last time you've cried? You say, not since your street days, watching the body of a young man lifted on stretcher to the hospital, learning only later it had been your friend who passed from an overdose. Grieving will be a part of our walking ritual from now on, moving with us, concussing, howling at once past the fence 2 houses away with the punctual bark of the neighbor's Great Dane, announcing the ordinary, a doorbell, the news. Um, I'm going to end with this one, and this one I've rarely read, but I feel like it's suitable for whatever I'm feeling tonight. And this one usually requires like a lot of practice, and I have not practiced. So like, cover your ears, walk out. And this book kind of started with Phyllis Webb, who's really special to me, a poet who passed away a few years ago. And so this one is for her. And she has the poem called Imperfect Sistina, so my poem is called More Imperfect Sistina for Phyllis. Where are we now? Hold our loved poets as seas, as oceans close. This imperfect Sistina choreographs the perfect cinematography of 6-beat repetitions. Musics of this life, our hearts, slow motion, not repetition, but a moving forward ephemeral improv. Eyes poring over the stone, this heart. Do you hear the sound of a moving toward her illuminations, that ephemeral thing? Fred's music at the heart of thinking, Steve says, happens the moment a poem announces itself as ready to be written. It's lost now. Perhaps lost as readiness of the mind ghost to unhaunt the living's unhomed de-visioned profiles of movement. Bodies, parentheses, being to cohabit with the sound of brackets at the music of sounding. Who am I to you, to others, our common loving of mutual things? Because if you are lost, how much of myself that I recognized in you needed of our perennial path, the signs of love and crossing, is also lost. Butler writes, when we lose, we grieve. We eye ourselves inseparable, the removal of selves, a moving, perfect vulnerability. Bodies are submerged. Such sounds, they become the space they inhabit. Ahmed. Think now, while Phyllis was here, think heart, journalistic eye, slow pulsing our collective eye we recognized in her, our perfect island congruent counterpart and friend. Compass point and a means to a living with meaning inseparable. The forces of living are meant to be broken and assembled, composed, moving a reassembled broken body. Without her, but surrounding that ephemeral thing, Berard recomposed. Phyllis, I say, tell me what words you want to keep up close for the hearts beating, missing you. How to perfect if I'm worthy to know in the afterlives you see a music imperfect for the homeostatic quivering. Ellie says, of course, every grief is an anchor line to previous losses. Island fairy rituals redefined, not gone, Steve. The poet moving in the cities and homes and poetries of her sound, how to feed her ravens red bitter berries of winter and still feed everything else up close we love. Phyllis thinks we can, it seems. Phyllis, music toward the movement of closure. Fill us, music. 1, 2, 3, 7 movements toward the closed beat of ephemeral things. Thank you.
Holy moly, what a way to start us off. Thanks, Isabella. Nobody's holding their ears and nobody is running out. Okay, next up we have Lucia Ferranon. Lucia grew up in Northern Ontario. the daughter of Italian immigrants. She is a psychologist. Wow, guys. She is a psychologist with a deep commitment to helping others navigate illness and life-changing health events. She now lives here in Ottawa and writes poetry and songs that explore childhood, care, and memories that thaw. Her poems are attentive to sensory details of food, of play, and of family life, but they open into something larger, tracing how recollection and need shape one another over time. Lucia recently participated in ARC's Poet in Residence program as a mentee. I also wanted to, again, another late breaking news, Lucia's poem Backyard Thaw, which you may or may not hear tonight, is actually in the Peter F. Yacht Club edition, which Rob tells me, is free. Sorry, it was loud. Is free except for an emotional cost. So everybody pick it up at the table over there. And please help me welcome Lucia to the stage.
Thank you. I'm going to put my glasses on. Yes, thanks to ARC Magazine for inviting me. Can you hear me okay? Bit. This? Good? You can hear me? I'm here thanks to the support and guidance of Margot Lapierre this past year and a half. I'm grateful to her. She encouraged me to apply to the ARC Poet in Residency program, where I had the chance to work with Tess Liam, who helped shape these poems that I'm reading tonight. Thank you. One of the most important things I learned from Tess is to trust what I explain. I also learned that Tess doesn't like doing math while reading poems, and you'll see what I mean. Freezer burns. It snowed in our 3-bedroom bungalow, one pink, one blue, one off-white. We were 40 tippy-toes, arched around a console TV, 4 bellies, begging, fed undigested sitcoms, laugh tracks thrown up, when pressed like tickle dolls. We parallel played in the unfinished basement and cold cellar, where chain-locked freezers held sweetness, waiting to thaw. I can't remember which one of us broke in first, me or my little brother. Somehow the earth tilts towards the sun again, and we're back for a summer visit. Hunger still frosts freezer baskets. Remember when we stole those Joe Louis? That was quite the chocolate caper. No, that wasn't me. Must have been Eddie. Really? Oh. Blueberry pie. I helped her make pies, crust-covered, blueberry warmth, cracked shell, bubbling lava sky, under melted, creamy, cloudy scoops, promising me love. I can taste and taste, taste and taste. My 4-quart basket nearly filled, my empty beak opened and closed, closed and opened. High-pitched chirps and squeaks didn't help locate me. Sound pulsed in whispers and yells, yells and whispers, hijacked stomach growls. I can barely tell hunger. And this last one is special to me because it's my first published poem, so thanks to Rob McLennan for including it in the Peter F. Yacht Club issue. Backyard Thaw. No bruises outside, playing in the cold, runny nose. I was a music box ballerina, trudging slushy, slurpy snow, teeter-tottered, frozen, plié to ground. On point, I twirled, and tutu landed into a snowbank mattress. Panic attacks, packed lunches, and chocolate prayers. I poured my hope into a thermal stainless steel bottle, buried it like a mapless treasure, a time capsule that promised to wait and wait and wait for the thaw. Thank you.
There's a stair behind the curtain, which is great if you're clumsy. Thank you so much, Lucia. There are a lot of visuals that come from listening to you read those poems, but I cannot stop thinking about Chef Boyardee in my thermos when I was a kid. Okay, last up we have T. Liam. The aforementioned T. Liam is the author of Slows Twice and Obits. Their work has appeared in publications including the Boston Review, the Malahat Review, the Fiddlehead, Grain, and Maisonneuve, among others. Their writing is sharp, surprising, and often playful, while also digging into hefty topics like identity, time, and the systems of their lives. There's a real precision to T's work, but also a willingness to push at the edges of what a poem can do. Beginning in November 2024, T spent 8 months as ARC's poet in residence, working closely with 30 poets, including Lucia, meeting one-on-one, offering feedback, and supporting each writer in developing their work and moving towards publication. I'm very excited to hear you read tonight. Please help me welcome T. Liam to the stage.
I've never done that before. Someone else usually rushes up to help me, so I feel already accomplished. Is that okay? Can you hear me? Thank you to Versefest and everyone who's here and everyone who's working on the festival. And thank you so much to ARC. The 8 months as poet in residence was really, really special. I got to spend so much time one-on-one with other writers, just thinking with them about what they wanted to do and talking through poetry. And as much as writing and writing life means we know each other and we spend a lot of time, we have our little bubble of writers. It felt like a very unique kind of experience to be with people as they were working on poems and to have a chance to offer them something and consider it with them. So I'm really grateful for that. And it also felt like a renewal for writing to know there's other people out there reading it. And this event is doing that for me a little bit too. I haven't been to Ottawa in a long time. I think the last time I was here was probably also for Versefest. And so even though this book feels old and gross to me, I don't want to look at it, but I'm going to look at it for you. I did a book report in grade 7 with cue cards, and I wish I had them now. I think it was on Sense and Sensibility. I don't remember. But I have this little card that's helping me introduce my book. I think I wrote this years ago, so let's see what it says. As the title suggests, Slows Twice is a book of repetitions, of saying things twice. So every poem in the first half, I rewrote in the second half. And this kind of gesture of repetition and revision was one that I wanted to capture, sort of the feeling of needing to repeat oneself a little bit in order to be heard. I'm a low talker, but also the corrective gesture of being misunderstood or dismissed. And then in a bigger way, thinking about revising oneself and observing change in oneself and in the ways that words and language that used to feel like it could fit might not fit anymore because of the way that meanings change, because of the way contexts change. And then also thinking about doing this slowly and kind of resisting a capitalist idea of productivity.
that discourages spending extra time reflecting and rethinking. Yeah, so I'm not going to read the rest of it. It's long. I'm just going to read 2 poems from this, one from the beginning and one from the end, that are the kind of mirror poems of each other to give a sense of what's going on. So this is called We Were Not Captioned. That's not what it's called. It's called We Were Captioned, Not Captured. I hide in my own shimmering while Sura holds a plant and their camera. It's not the heat, it's the humidity kind of day. We slugged ourselves to Jean Talon Market to buy herbs and succulents. I remember myself as a crystalline lens swooning light. Ready or not, here I rest. Exchanging nothing for nothing halts our intention to buy. We leave hangry. They ask me, what do you wince through to arrive here already obliterated? Except that's not what they say. I want them to know I am not a tide, except I can't afford a property big enough to hold all the ways I've changed. I didn't wince. My myths were more casual than that. You couldn't pay me too much for the details of my first kiss. Then, 2 ID photos of myself expired and renewed, the subject of a 3rd photo. The caption, does this haircut make me look gay enough? It didn't. I tell them I left the prairies folded up. They were and weren't home, and yet I would return. The iris of my eye was always itchy, making wanting seem like darkness stitched up darkness. So this is the rewrite. We were the grateful ones. In our window-free bedroom, Sura stitched their body to bed phone glow against their gold-green irises, while I itched words against other words in the dark. They read out what a famous bigot said, and you couldn't pay me enough to repeat it. We didn't ask for the renewal or expiry poems can give to something someone said, something that leaves you folded like an old photo, but I can't stop giving. Does that make me generous? In the details, you'll notice I am the speaker, but not the subject. This is a myth big enough to hold me when my bladder is full. When I peed with the door open while Sura cooked mussels, proximity of bathroom to kitchen meant together it all smelled like a beach. I arrived a tide, transported by piss. Wouldn't you like to be transported? If you had to choose only one, would you go to a time or a place, slow time or speed it up? Either way, you'd still have to pee. Let me give you a minute. Let me give. Let piss be a lens for light. One night, Sura and I were too slugged to find our way home. We were without time or place. In an alley, our urine splashed our ankles, but our biggest fear was someone would catch us in need instead of in a bathroom. Pee was our gift to asphalt, yet we were the grateful ones. Ready or not, I don't always know what to do with what I have to offer. In answer to my own question, I would travel to a year in which years shimmer, relief through our bodies, sunbeam warm as a kidney, succulents hiding thriving roots in dry soil. So I had occasion through ARC to write some new poetry. And some of these are going to appear in the next issue. So subscribe, buy, support. I really probably wouldn't have written them if I didn't have that deadline. time, so I am really grateful for that. It's been a weird couple of years for writing poetry, so. This one's called Don't Worry. And it's a kind of walking around the city in one's routine, amidst a lot of construction kind of poem. Don't worry, be caution sign yellow, high visibility orange, concrete pipe gray. Symbols gloss and drag me through the cool mouth truth. I don't want to worry. Isn't that good? Sump, sinkhole, cesspool, I press my body into the earth, and wave to the selves I've not yet been. I scan my circumstances by yawping questions about the point of anything. After the building is built, I stop noticing it. A phony chamber choir sings infinite resource, tuning to the murmurs beneath the beneath and then above. Has it been 10 minutes? Yes. Okay. I'll read one more. This is called Thus, and it has an epigraph from Tricia Lowe's book, Socialist Realism. And it is, I don't know how to struggle correctly, do you? If I were nowhere, I bet there'd still be fees. Thus, right? Thus, I have been making the language of my story more economical. I have financialized the functions of my liver, took out insurance on the arches of my feet because many men have called them exquisite. I receive pinched nerves in regular installments to avoid a big thrill this winter. In my dream job, I tag metaphors for self-driving cars. Thus, my family will be taken care of. The onorologist told me, a dream is just the life you live while you are sleeping. And there I was thinking one was already too much. Thus, I no longer refer to nightmares as dreams, no longer refer to the sounds of bombs filtered through a tiny speaker as nightmare, no longer refer to distance as long. I've seen everything up close now. I paid a premium. Thus, I will not name for you the eras of my life. They are known. I have been decreasing my nightly rate. I watched all the ads and accrued the necessary goods. I indexed my capacities, initiated a public offering, listed my services. When I make a sale, a bell will ring. Thank you.
That was incredible. Thank you so much, T. I hope that some bells ring over there when you're buying the books by tonight's poets. I'm just going to lean this down because I don't want to mess with the height of it. So thank you again to Isabella, Lucia, and T for joining us and sharing such, yes, I'm going to use the word generous and layered poetry tonight. And thank you all for being here to support ARC, to support Versefest, and to support poetry in Ottawa and across Canada. Honestly, it's one of the best communities I have ever been part of, and I'm really happy to get to be part of it through ARC. Speaking of community, I do want to mention again that mentorship through ARC's Poet in Residence program is open to all interested poets, especially those who have not yet published a full collection or chapbook. If you're an emerging poet interested in working with our current poet in residence, Cassidy McFadzean, I hope I pronounced that right, woo, we'd love to hear from you. Until then, have a great night. Thanks so much. I don't know if I have to turn that off.